Hello friends, I'm back with another educational video, and this is regarding the reduced syllabus of grade 9 ICSE History Civics. So today we will deal only with the civics part, and then in the next video I'll be telling about the reduced syllabus of history part. Okay, so आपकी books में you have civics starting at page 121. You may have a different book or a different page number. So the first chapter that you have is our constitution. Here the syllabus is not much changed. We already had the same one last year as well. So the syllabus, as you can see, is definition of the constitution, date of adoption, date of enforcement, and its significance. So if I show you the reduced syllabus, it is the same. You can note it down. Okay. Now, when you see the book itself, there's a lot of confusion that happens because there are different headings given. So we can go one by one with the heading. So you can mark the first paragraph or the first introductory part. It is the definition of the constitution, right? So it is in syllabus. Now, enactment of the constitution, I'll just tell you. This part is not in syllabus anymore, right? It's not there anyway. Formation of Constituent Assembly is not there. Composition of Constituent Assembly is not there. Objectives resolution you can read for information, but as per syllabus, it will not be asked in exam. Drafting committee is not in syllabus. Ambedkar's contribution to the Indian Constitution is not there, so you can cancel it. Reading is not there, time taken is not there. Implementation of the Constitution, you can do this. It's not going to be directly asked, but there is a date mentioned here, which is the date of adoption of the Constitution and the date of enforcement. So you can read this part. Consider it as a part that you should read for your syllabus, although it's not directly given in your syllabus box, right? Because it gives you the two important dates, that is 26 November 1949 and 26 January 1950. And then you have these changes that happened. This is something which, as a teacher, I always tell my students to read, because it's even a GK thing that for general knowledge you should know who was the first Governor General, Indian Governor General of India, who was the first president. This is not going to be asked for exam, but you should read to understand and remember. Now the next very important part of the chapter in syllabus is significance of the date January 26 and why it was selected as the day the constitution was enforced. So date of enforcement is here and its significance is also here, because it was on this date in January 26, way back in 1929, that the Lahore session of Indian National Congress had for the first time given the call for Purna Swaraj, or complete independence. So this day had been celebrated before independence as Independence Day up to 1947. So to commemorate the feeling of our freedom fighters and their demand for complete independence, to commemorate that day, January 26 was designated as the Republic Day, and this date was used as the date of enforcement of the Indian Constitution. So that is all about the first chapter in civics. Then we move on to the second chapter, which is the salient features of the Constitution, part 1. Now look into the box here that tells you the syllabus. So you have in syllabus now single citizenship, universal adult franchise. So both of these are in syllabus with all the details given under them. And there's a portion on fundamental rights and fundamental duties. Now, fundamental rights in the chapter is very comprehensive, lot of details about all the rights are given, but now in syllabus you don't have to remember all the details. You just have to remember the names of the fundamental rights. And we'll go with the pages in the book so you can understand better. And then you have fundamental duties. Now, whole thing about fundamental duties is there. It's a part of the syllabus. So the 10 fundamental duties, which fundamental duty has been added, what is the importance of fundamental duties, everything is there in syllabus. Okay, so we'll go one by one with the pages. Single citizenship in syllabus with all the details. What is single citizenship and how it is granted to the people of India, how it is different from the US citizenship, and what are the changes made in the citizenship law, that is persons of Indian origin who had migrated to other countries after January 26, 1950, they are given a dual citizenship so that they do not have to really apply for visas while coming to India and all that, but they are not given voting rights when they come to India, but they are still considered as a citizen of India. So these are the people of Indian origin, they are known as PIOs. So all these details are important as a part of single citizenship. Then you have universal adult franchise, which means persons above the 18 years of age have the right to vote irrespective of their caste, color and religion. Why this is important is there's a background given that the British had provided for communal electorates under the Act of 1919 and 1935. That is the Government of India Acts that they used to pass from time to time. The British Parliament used to pass it and send it for the governance of India. But that to do away with those communal electorates after independence, our constitution makers decided for universal adult franchise. That means it is universal. There is no communal electorate. So the Constitution of Independent India has replaced this system by introducing joint electorates. So according to this system, resident voters of a constituency have to vote for the same candidate irrespective of his caste or creed. This may sound a little confusing, but the meaning is that you are not voting for a person based on communalism or his religion or caste or anything. You are voting for a candidate as a candidate. You are not voting for him because he belongs to a particular caste or religion. So, universal adult franchise, all citizens above the age of 18 years have the right to vote. So, this is all in syllabus, friends. So you can mark it point wise like I have marked in my book. They have also added that some seats are reserved for candidates from scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, and all people from such constituencies have to vote for the candidates of that area. So what is the aim of the system? It is aimed at curbing communal politics and for fostering communal harmony. Now the main part which is deleted is not the names of the fundamental rights. All the names you will remember, right? So you are doing fundamental rights names only. I'll just show you in the syllabus sent by the council. You can see here. So it is fundamental rights names only and fundamental duties. Fine. So when you come to the section on fundamental rights, do this part. It gives you introduction about what are fundamental rights. They are the basic rights given in part 3 of the Constitution of India. Now they are classified under different categories. So you have to remember the names of these rights. So right to equality is articles 14 to 18. I would suggest you read articles 14 to 18 because each article's names you might have to remember. So these are the 6 fundamental rights that you have to remember the names of. So there's right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, freedom of religion, that is actually right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. This is what you have to remember the names of the fundamental rights. Now you might think that do I have to remember all these names or even the names of individual articles? Well, since they mention names, on the safer side, I would ask you to learn articles also, the names of the articles. So under 14 to 18, you have the different articles, 14, 15, and these kind of names are given. So equality before law, Article 15 prohibits discrimination on grounds mentioned in Article 14. So you have equality of opportunity, and then abolition of untouchability. So all these headings only you can learn. You don't need to do all the details under them. You don't need to remember all these details. You just need to remember all the basic rights given here. And I would suggest you to make a table. Its table is actually given here. So you just have to learn the names of these fundamental rights article wise. Okay, so this is the big help that the book has provided. You have the different articles and the fundamental rights mentioned here. So learn them. This is a part of the syllabus. Fine. So that table, if you learn, will be very helpful to you to remember all the names. You can use that table to remember for your exam or test or anything. Then restrictions imposed are again no longer